Okay, we are live. Yes, 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 we are live. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning. Oh, wow. Okay, I see a few persons have been here already. Thank you for joining very, very early on in today's episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody, welcome. This is the final lap for 2022 Fathers Conference. You are welcome, welcome, welcome. And by the way, happy Father's Day to all of our fathers, everybody that has been here since Friday, all through yesterday and today. To all the fathers, this is Happy Father's Day from TIP, all of the fathers in the yard and all of the fathers that are joining this conference. If you have been here since we started, it has been very, very amazing. And so we're going to take our final lap today. I hope you've had a restful afternoon. We're going to have two sessions that are this afternoon. Our guests are set and ready. Yes, yes, yes. I see the fire emojis. Let's have some more of it. So, like I said, today is the final lap. We started on a very high note. Pastor Wisdom took us through the topic Daddy is Destiny, which happens to be the theme of this conference. Daddy is Destiny. After that, we had Mr. Kinyokpo talk about the hallmark of fatherhood: respect, responsibilities, and relationships. And then yesterday, we had Uncle Ibuka with the fire. Uncle Ibuka came in yesterday talking about the boy and the man. We have not recovered from that session. And then we went into a panel session where it was bass, boast from all of our guests. We had Uncle David, we had Uncle Sele, and Uncle Ojobo. All of them were very, very amazing. Then we went to that very deep session, the session about writing wheels. It was very, very interesting, the things we learned. I don't know about you. I've been trying to go through all my notes and I need to still sit down, go over it again, look at some of the episodes again. Then last night we closed with Uncle Akin Benjamin spoke to us about how to navigate discipline. It was a template on fatherhood last night. And that's where we left it last night. Today we're back here. We have two amazing speakers, Taiwa Kinlami and the one and only Kunle Ologe, coming in this afternoon to share with us. So I hope you are set. My pen is here, my notepad, everything. I'm ready to start taking notes right now. And today, our first guest is Barrister Taiwo Akinlami, who is a very senior boss in the TIP family. So we're glad to have him this afternoon. In a very short while, he'll be here with us. He has been backstage. I'm just going to take his profile and then we'll bring him up to deliver. His topic this afternoon, just to get you prepped, is how fatherhood impacts a child. How fatherhood impacts a child. And so we're going to have Barrister Taiwo join us in just about a few minutes. Let's take his introduction first. Yes, I see you. You're ready, you're ready, you're ready. And we are ready. So my media people will roll Barrister Taiwo's introduction. Let's meet Barrister.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
Akinlabi is arguably Africa's foremost child protection thinker and practitioner, being the founder and principal of Taiwo Akinlabi Child Protection Academy, Africa's pioneer child protection academy, author of 5 handbooks, 23 audio programs, 4 ebooks. His unique philosophy and teachings on family strengthening, child protection, and related matters has been well received in over 133 countries from the continents of the world. He is a consultant, researcher, facilitator, conference speaker, mediator, social invention content provider, so child protection, right enlightenment, education curriculum developer, astute contributor to brainstorming and planning sessions, child youth trainer to UNICEF, Premier League, British Council, USAID, UNFPA, Child Frontiers, SOS Child, Children Villages, Nigeria, Association of Private Educators of Nigeria, APEN, Association of International School Educators in Nigeria, AISEN, Association of Children's Schools International, ACSI, and National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools in Nigeria, NAPPS. Local, state, and federal arms of government, and other leading national and international organizations of child protection and related matters. Akinlabi, an independent listener to the recent students of Greng School, GRA in Keja, Lagos State, is the Secretary General of the Child Protection Network, Lagos State, in an initiative of UNICEF. Akinlabi, who describes his childhood as bountiful baskets of dehumanizing abuses, today testifies that he is a transformed adult, spirit, soul, and body, mind, will, and emotion, by the help of God, to whom he surrendered his life in February 16, 1997, at the age of 27. He declares as his personal operating ideology, POI, the world is a marketplace, sacrifices are its reward. He's happily married to his adorable, beautiful, amiable, and supportive wife, Oluwa Fumilayo, and the family resides in Lagos, Nigeria. Gentlemen, please welcome to the TIP Fathers Conference 2022, Taiwo Akinlabi.
Awesome. If welcome, sir. Good afternoon. Good to have you
Thank you
here,
so much.
and happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you again. Again, it's always my pleasure. Thank you so
Welcome,
much.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. If everyone in the audience, if you listen correctly, you will see that we have someone who is prepped for this topic. Barrister Taiwo is the foremost child protection expert, probably on the continent. And so you want to listen with rapt attention to what he has to say this afternoon. I'll just go backstage, but I think that before he continues with his session, that we're going to take one review from the inner circle. Can we have the inner circle review right now, please? Okay, do we have the inner circle review? If
Hi, my name is Dr. Adrian Mildakure, and I have been part of the International Parent Academy for the past 6 months since December. I have two kids, a 5 year old and a 7 year old, and it's been a lovely journey so far. I've learned so much from the academy. I've learned how to discipline my children properly. I've learned how to teach them executive skills to make them more independent. I've also learned how to be a better parent, not trying to do the things that our parents did and by shouting and making your children fear you. I've also learned to allow my children actually get to know me better and bond with them better and getting them to understand how life works in a very fun way. It also helped me to be a better person in terms of things on how I communicate with people, not just my kids. So it's been a holistic experience for myself and my wife, and I can't thank Wendy Love for creating this lovely academy and this lovely arena for us to come and learn to be better versions of ourselves by our parents and better versions of ourselves going forward. Initially, when I came into the academy, I was initially very apprehensive because I did not know what to expect. There were a lot of women there, and I thought there would be very few men. But I went in and I was able to engage in the activities on a daily basis. And yes, it was difficult to be quite consistent, but the few times I did not do the activities, I felt very bad and I felt something was missing in my day. My kids have really enjoyed and seen the change in me, and I just look forward to getting better and better. I'm not yet there, I'm a work in progress, but as I say, consistency is key and perseverance is key also. So I want to thank Wendy and I look forward to learning some more from you. Thank you and bye bye.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh wow, okay. And guess who I have here? I have Chizurum in the building again. Chizurum, good
Hi,
afternoon. Happy
Chidozie.
Father's Day to you. Happy Father's
Thank
Day
you.
to
Thank
you.
you.
All right, so
Thank you.
Sir Chizurum will be my co-anchor when I take a break. He'll be here to let's see how things flow together this afternoon. But we are all set, and it's time for you to have the floor. Barsa Taiwo, please.
Okay, I got a message, so
Good
I'm trying
afternoon,
to,
Barrister Taiwo.
thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you today. It's my many missionary journeys to the intentional parenting platform. Thank you for having me.
Mm.
So, thank you very much for having me today. I've been trying to adjust, my deeply sorry about all of this that should have happened before. Now, just give me 1 minute. Let me adjust this a bit. Okay. Okay. I think I'm good now. I should be good now. Okay. I want to believe it's better now. So, is it better now? Can you see me better? Or the light from
Yes, we can see you now, but your
We
audio
can see
is
you.
breaking. We can
my
we can see you, sir, but your audio is breaking.
okay? How is my
No,
audio now?
Can you hear me?
the audio is good. It's good. Maybe
Okay.
it's
It's
from your
breaking.
end.
Is
Okay. Is it good now?
It's
Yes,
good.
it is
But I'm
now.
seeing,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Chidozie, I'm
Thank
seeing
you.
your end breaking. Maybe it's from your network. His audio is clear. I can hear him. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you again this year. The Father's Day conference. I think that we must salute the TIP family under the leadership of Mrs. Wendy Ologe, who is a pioneer in no small way. She has been in the forefront of bringing the message of parenting, intentional parenting, fatherhood, the role of mothers, the role of fathers. She's been doing that extensively for years now. And I met her in the process of doing that, and we began to relate, and we have continued to relate since then. She's a visionary. She's someone who sees far into the future. And she does not only see into the future, she begins to take steps in the direction of what she sees. That's the difference between a visionary and those who daydream. Daydreamers just keep hallucinating, talking about what is possible. The world is tired of hearing what is possible. The world wants to see us do what is possible. If we say it is possible, roll up your sleeve and get on to work. Thank you, the entire team. Thank you for everybody who is joining us today to be part of this entire conference from the beginning till now. Thank you for the anchor, the men who are anchoring this program, who are doing a wonderful job, doing it seemingly effortlessly. But I know that there's a lot of effort that has been going into making this a great success. My name is Taiwo Akiname, as I've been introduced. I'm going to be talking about the impact of fatherhood on a child. And I'm going to speak from a very personal perspective. And I'm going to be ready to take some questions. I have the opportunity of being, the rare opportunity of being the father of all before I became the father of one. I have the opportunity of being the father of all before I became the father of all. Let me take that again. I had the opportunity of being the father of all before I became the father of one. And I think that's a rare opportunity of looking after children that God gave me the opportunity to come across, to provide leadership, to provide fatherhood, to provide direction, to these young people that I came across. Now, when we talk about fatherhood, I want us to look at it from three main perspectives. Number one, a person, a man, then a father. I think you're first a person before you are a father. Once your personhood is damaged, the possibility of your manhood is threatened, then the possibility of your fatherhood is in jeopardy. It is from personhood to being a man. From being a man, then you are a father. You are first a person, a human being, then a man, then a father. Now, you cannot play your role as a father if you lose your personhood. You cannot play your role as a father if you lose your edge as a man. Now, let me begin from personhood. Then we dovetail into who is a man. I'm talking about the male man now. And from there, we go to who is a father. If we're able to settle the identity issue, then we're able to play our part. Many are not persons. Not to talk of being men, now they want to be fathers. Many are not persons, not to talk of being men, now they want to be fathers. It's not going to work. You first have to be a person. There are things, characteristics of human beings that you must have, that you must exhibit, that you must ask yourself the question, am I a person as a human? So when you get it right as a human being, a person, then you migrate to being a man. Then you migrate to being a man, then we'll begin to talk about your role as a father. Are you getting what I'm saying? Very, very important that we get that into the right perspective. So who is a person? A person has three major characteristics. Number one, you are of worth. Being of worth means W-O-R-T-H, of worth, means that you are made in the image and the likeness of God. You are a person. Now, there's no wealth in the world that is big enough, sufficient enough to pay for your worth, to pay for the perception of God about you. As a matter of fact, you are made in his image and his likeness. You are not a second-rated human being. You are a person with dignity, with honor, created to carry out certain responsibilities on the face of the earth. You are not a product of mass production. You were in God's intention before the world began, and God created you not because of an accident, but because there's a commitment from the beginning of, before the world began, that so person is in God's agenda to be created at a particular time and in a particular place. That's why the book that I read says it determined our appointed times and the boundaries of our habitation. It determined our appointed times and the boundaries of our habitation. So a person is of worth. Number two, a person can think. A person is a reasoning being. As a person, you are a reasoning being. You can think. You have the power to think. It's called sense of judgment. Sense of judgment, ability to think through, ability to see things, ability to envision, ability to see things as they are, ability to have judgment, not prejudice, judgment, to be able to sense things, to be able to know what is right, what is wrong. It's called sense of judgment. That is the second characteristic of a person. A person is of worth. Now, secondly, a person has sense of judgment. Number three, when you talk about a person, is that you have the power of choices. Nobody pushes you to do anything until you are ready to do it. Therefore, whatever you do is what you have chosen to do. Whatever you do is a reflection of the content of your character. You have the power of choice. You have the power of choice. So when we establish your personhood, which is the fact that you are of worth, that is who you are, that is your identity. You are made in the image and the likeness of God. There is none like you, there is none beside you. Oh, you say, are you describing God? No, I'm not describing God. When it comes to you, you are custom made. You are made in the image and the likeness of God. You are made for a reason. You are made for a season. You are not only made for a reason, you are made for a season. You are unique. You are different. There's nothing in you that exists in the other person. That is why you cannot be duplicated. That is why you cannot be reproduced in terms of mass production. You are unique, you, and you must take responsibility for that. What does it mean to take responsibility for that? At least believe that I'm different, I'm unique, I'm made in the image and the likeness of God. Now, that is number one. Number two is that you have a sense of judgment. You have a sense of judgment. You are not a pushover, you are not a push around. Nobody pushes you around. You have a sense of judgment. You can think. The first time you think you were right, you were right. But something happened along the line that began to shift your perception about yourself, that began to shift our perception about ourselves. Then you have the power of choice. There's something inside of you which says you can decide. You don't complain, you decide. You just take decisions. That is a person. That is a person. But you see, this personhood that I just described to you right now has been uttered in many of us growing up. We are persons. We are persons of worth that were treated like rags. We were persons of worth that were shouted at, beaten, messed up, yelled at. Then we began to see ourselves from the perspective of those who yelled at us, those who called us names. They were not in conformity with the uniqueness that God placed upon us. that were not in conformity with how God created us in his image and his likeness. So those things that we saw, those things that were said to us, the way our lives were managed, began to say something to us which was contrary to God's image and likeness. Unfortunately, we began to believe that. We began to receive that as our identity. We began to see that as our worth. For example, when my father wanted to cane me, he would tie my hands, he would tie my legs. He would strip me naked. He would give me 6 strokes of the cane and he would go and sit down. And that could go on for half a day. Now, what were the things that I saw tied growing up? I saw goats tied up. I saw chicken tied up. So I began to think that if goats were worthless, only good for birthday parties, if chicken were worthless, only good for Christmas, if chicken were also tied and I was tied, it meant that myself and chicken, we are of the same worth. My thinking about myself as a person of worth, as a matter of fact, I wasn't thinking about myself as a person of worth because I was not introduced to myself as a person of worth. I was introduced to myself as a useless human being who could not amount to anything, who did not know what he was doing, who was not going anywhere, a child whose birth was a mistake, who was an error, and all of that. Those are the things that I got. So those personhood, the personhood in terms of my worth, were completely altered. And I was now told who God did not create me to be. Unfortunately, that person whom I was told God did not create me to be was the person I behaved like, because it is not about who God has created you to be. It is about who those who handled you, your handlers, introduced you to as yourself. So, altered. So, personhood is altered. It's altered by abuse. It's altered by a lot of things. You have the power. You are a reasoning being. You bring your opinion. Every opinion you bring is shut down. You are not correct. You are wrong. After a while, you begin to second guess yourself. That's where second guessing comes from. Before, you think that this is what I want to do. They tell you who told you can do it. They tell you who told you should do that. They tell you who told you in our family, nobody has ever done this thing that you are trying to say you want to do. You are too ambitious. So what happens to you? You begin to second guess yourself. Today, we still second guess ourselves. So personhood is damaged. Then power of choices. You were not trained. We were not trained to use that power. Many of us were not trained. And so we're not able to make choices. We keep dilly-dallying. We keep postponing. We keep putting it off to another day. We keep holding off on what is ready, what we're supposed to do now. So when personhood is damaged, manhood is unattainable. So personhood is the foundation. So are you a person of worth? Yes. Are you created as a reasoning being? Yes. Are you created with the power of choice? Yes. When you know this, if you were denied of it, when you begin to ruminate on it now, then when that foundation is restored, or the foundation has never been tampered with, it's either the foundation has never been tampered with, I rejoice with you. You are in a good place. If that foundation has been tampered with for whatever reason, then there is a need for realignment, readjustment, rehabilitation of those components of personhood. So when you move from personhood, you move to being a man. Who is a man? What distinguishes you as a man? It is your ability to lead. The other day I had an argument with my wife many years ago. On the phone, she was in the US, I was in Nigeria, and we're having a very serious argument. And when the argument ended, I dropped the phone. I felt I've made my point. I felt I was justified with the point that I was making, because I felt like my wife was getting out of line and I needed to bring her back to line. I needed to shape her up. And so when I finished that call, I dropped my phone with an air of satisfaction that I've said all that I needed to say. But that conversation did not end in peace. It ended in pieces. It ended in quarrel. And so a thought occurred to me. and ask me, what just happened right now? Do you think it is right? Whose fault it is? I was quick to now begin to present my case according to that thought. Yes, I told her this, I explained this to her, I explained that to her. Yes, I'm correct. So, so the thought asked me to say, okay, so what had just happened right now? Is it order or disorder? Answer is disorder. Okay, who is the head of this your home? I said yes. I answered with very, very serious cockiness. Yes, I'm the one. I'm the head of the home. Okay, good. If you are the head of the home, why are you a head? I couldn't deny what I knew. I said the purpose of my being a head is to bring order into the family, order. So your being head is not for the purpose of bringing disorder. Your being a head is not for the purpose of gallivanting around, reminding your wife and your children that I'm your husband and I'm your father. No, the reason for the purpose of being a head is not that you are superior. It's not that the person you are heading is inferior. It's just for the purpose of order. Somebody must bring order, and that order must lead to accountability. Must lead to accountability. I say, okay, so yes. So what just happened right now? So who is responsible? I began to find myself taking another look at everything that has happened. You are a head. You are a man. The purpose of your headship, the purpose of being a man is for the purpose of bringing order. Order is accurate arrangement of things, is to ensure that things are done in a manner that is worthy of dignity, honor of human person. That is the purpose of order. That is why you are a man. That is what you are called to do in the order of scripture. You are called a man not to lord it over your family, not to eat the biggest meat in the soup, not to have a special share you sit on in the family. Let me tell you something. As a man, your honor is in service. Your honor is in service. Your honor is not in a particular chair when you sit in the home. Your honor is not in a particular place that when your children hear the hooting of your car, they disappear. That's what makes you a man. No, that is what the society has told you you are. They've told you you are the head, you eat the biggest meat. They've told you you are the head, the door to your heart is your stomach. They've told you because you are the head, everybody must tremble. Because you are the head, you must always have the lion's share. No, that's not the meaning of headship. The headship that Jesus Christ brought is the headship of service. Your honor is in service as a man. Your honor is in service. Ability to serve, to make yourself of no reputation, to serve the family, to serve your children, to serve your wife. As you serve, your honor is guaranteed. I've never seen a man who serves and is disrespected. I've never seen one. I've never seen a man who is committed to service in the order of how God has created it to be that is disrespected. Every serving man is honored. Every man who serves, every man who makes himself of no reputation is exalted by his spouse, by the spouse, and by the children, by the wife, the woman in the family, and the children. The purpose of headship, you are a man. The purpose of headship is service. You are called to service. Oh, you say, what about self-care? Am I not supposed to take care of myself? Yes, you take care of yourself. We have not said you should not take care of yourself as a man. We take care of ourselves. What we are saying is that your responsibility is to serve. No man serves and is disrespected. No man serves and is put at the background. Every man who serves is in the forefront. Every man who serves is honored. Every man who serves is respected. The day you have to open your mouth and say, I'm your father and I'm your wife, maybe I'm your husband, maybe you are not. The day you have to say, I'm the man in this house, maybe you are not. You don't need to remind anybody. Your driver, if you use a driver, does not show up at work and say, I am the driver. I am the driver. It doesn't need to say that. It just takes the steering. It just does his work. As he continues to do his work, there will never be any day in his life of working with you that we need to tell you, I'm your driver. It's not necessary because he's performing his responsibility. He knows what he's supposed to do. So when a man begins to say, I am the man in this house, I am the man in this house. When a father needs to remind his constituency that I'm the father, then there's a problem. There's a problem. Then when you move from personhood, you move to being a man, then we can now begin to discuss fatherhood. We can now begin to discuss fatherhood. You move from a person, because if you lose sight of your personhood, we cannot discuss your manhood. If we cannot discuss your manhood, we cannot discuss your fatherhood. So we move to father. Who is a father? A father is a source and a sustainer. A father is a source and a sustainer. A source because the child comes from your loins. A source because maybe you took the decision to adopt a child. You are a source because you took that decision with your wife to say, okay, let's go adopt a child. You are also a source. A source is a person from whom an entity emanates. Rivers do have their source. Everything in life has its own source. So as a man, as a father now, you are a source. You are a source. It is from your loins that the child is sourced. And if you adopt a child, it is from that decision that child is sourced. And now note. Now, who is a sustainer? A sustainer is not only talking about school fees payment. It's not only talking about paying house rent. It's not only talking about buying a house. As a matter of fact, it is the list of being a source. Please note, the book that I read says, a righteous man leaves a great name for his children. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children. That's what the book says. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children. Now, the book now says, a good name is to be desired more than silver and gold. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, the book says. The book now goes further to say that a good name is to be desired more than silver and gold. Now, so if we use scripture to interpret scripture, the meaning of that is that when the book says inheritance, it is not necessarily looking at only possessions, goods, houses, buildings, and all of that. That in itself also has its place. But the book is talking about a good name is to be desired more than silver and gold. That good name is the possession. That good name is the inheritance that the book is talking about. That in the order of inheritance, a good name is more prioritized, is more important, is of more value than silver and gold. That is what the book says. So, therefore, if you are a father today, you are a source, you are a sustainer, you are a source, you are a sustainer. What do you sustain with? You sustain with your dominant value system. That is how you sustain. How do you sustain? Anybody can be a source, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody can donate sperm. Anybody can be a source. Being a source is not difficult. It is easy. Anybody can be. What everybody cannot be is to be a sustainer. So today we have many sources who are not sustainers, who are not able to sustain what they have sourced. It's one thing for you to go to the bush and hunt a game. It's another thing for you to prepare it and make it into food for everybody in your household to eat. Many people are very good at being sources. They are just sources through whom the child has come. And being a source is possible. It's not, you don't need to be a honorable person to be a source. Osama bin Laden was a source, had children. Anini had children. Oyenusi, one of the most notorious armed robbers that has ever lived, had children. So being a source is not a honorable thing. Anybody can be a source. The real juice of the conversation today is the fact that you are a sustainer. A sustainer leads the way. Train up a child the way he should go. Abraham Lincoln says, how do you train up a child the way he should go? You will go there first and come back and take the child with you, because you cannot take the child to a place you have not been. It is fallacy. It's not going to be possible. You can only take a child to where you have been. You lead the way. We are talking about your impact, our impact on our children as fathers. Very, very important. That cannot be overemphasized. So the point is, you are a sustainer. You are a sustainer. So when we talk about sustainability, being a sustainer, we are saying that you want to inculcate in your children positive value system. What you have, what we have over our children is authority, not dominion. To dominate is to take away the sensitivity, the sensibilities of human beings, to take away their individuality, to take away what makes them human. That is what it means to dominate, to subjugate, to subdue. God did not ask one human being to subdue the other. God asked you to subdue the earth, not persons. You are to nurture persons. You are not to subdue them. What does it mean to nurture? To bring out everything God has deposited into them. Your responsibility, our responsibility as fathers, is to bring out all of that, because there's a deposit. Children are not born empty. Children are not born in from zero. Children are born full of potential, full of opportunities, full of graces, full of solutions, full of so many great things. No child proceeded from God that is a mistake. No child proceeded from God that is an error. No child proceeded from God that is not a gift. Every child is a gift. You know, the child is not only a gift. You don't look at the person who gave the gift. The giver of this gift is God. In him, there's no variable of turning. In that God, he does not give any useless thing. Every good and perfect gift is from God, in whom there's no doubt, there's no shadow of turning. That is the kind of gift we are talking about. So a child is a gift. It is your responsibility, therefore, as a father, to bring out that which has been deposited. That is nurture. It is your responsibility to cooperate with nature to nurture. It is your responsibility to cooperate with nature. When you cooperate with nature, what is nature here? Cooperate with God. See the potential, see the possibility that are deposited in a child, and you are now committed to bring that out. That is fatherhood. You are committed to bring that out. We are committed to bring that out, that which is deposited. Because our authority over our children is transient. Our authority is transient. Is for 18 years. Is transient. Because what is permanent is the value system. We use the authority to communicate. That is what is going to last a lifetime. That is what is going to last from generation to generation. It is those pronouncements that we make on those children. It is those value systems we have inculcated into them, that even when they are no more with us, even when we are no more, we have inculcated those value systems in them, and those value systems have become part of them, and those value systems are going to outlive us. They are also going to hand it to their own children, and their children will hand it over to their children. It's going to be from generation to generation. That is the whole essence of this thing that we are talking about. The legacy of a righteous man is a good name. What is a name? A name signifies who you are, your totality, the entire value that you represent, the character that you bring to table, the content of your character. That is what is in a name. That is a name. And that is what the book enjoys us to hand over to our children, to exemplify to our children. That is what we are talking about today. The father, you have authority. This authority must not be wasted. You can't use this authority to be backing around. We can't use this authority to be shouting around. We can't use this authority to be messing things around. We can't use this authority to be asserting ourselves, asserting our position. I'm your daddy, I'm your husband. No, we are going to use this authority to serve, to exemplify the right value system. And please note, when I speak of the right value system, I do not speak I do not speak in vacuum. I do not speak in vacuum. I do not just say value, value, value. I'm talking about universal principles which God created to govern the affairs of this world. That is what I mean by positive value system. I'm not talking about the values of this world. The wisdom of this world is passing. The wisdom of God is pure, without hypocrisy, easy to entreat. That is the wisdom I'm talking about. That is the value I'm talking about, not the value of this world that comes to nothing. I'm talking about the value of God that is absolute in itself, that says a good name is to be desired more than silver and gold, that says that you are a steward of private property. You are a steward. You are not an owner of anything. You are a steward. That it is important for you to note that the richest men in the world are not leaving their money for their children. They are leaving their name. They are leaving their value. That is why Mark Zuckerberg has said, I'm going to give away 99% of my wealth in a lifetime. That is why Warren Buffett in his lifetime gave away 80% of his wealth. That is why if you go and check, richest people in the world, they are preparing their children according to their dominant value system. Look at a family, one family. A father, George Bush, produced himself as the president, produced his son as the president, produced 2 governors, produced senators and all of that. One father who understood that he's a person of worth, who understood that he was a reasoning being, who understood that he had the power of choice, who understood that he had everything to change the world, and began to understand his role as a man. Who is a man? Called to service, called to order. A man has been called to service and called to order. I am a man. There's a song we sing there's a ministry that I'm part of, Discovery for Men, and we have our anthem. And the anthem, we still sang it today for Father's Day. And the anthem says, I'm a man created in God's image, of Adam race, now marred by sin, but I've been restored through Jesus Christ. I've been restored. That is the kind of thing we are talking about. So the man now knows that I'm restored to serve. I'm restored to serve my family. I'm restored to serve my community. I'm restored to serve my children. I'm restored to serve. Service, that is manhood. Then from service, we move to fatherhood. Fatherhood simply speaks to source and sustainer. And I'm dwelling on sustainer right now, being a sustainer right now, saying you have authority. The purpose of your authority is to communicate value. The purpose of your authority is to communicate value. And you have to do it now. You don't have time, because value that you need to communicate with your authority, that value is eternal, but your authority is transient. That value is eternal, but your authority is transient. These children are going to move on in life. They themselves are going to become authorities. Your female children are going to get married, and another authority is going to take over from that end. You cannot exert any authority over your married child. Then there's going to be 2 bosses, the authority of her husband and your authority. Definitely there's going to be a clash. When your son is married, you don't go to his home and begin to exert authority. He is now in authority. You become an advisor on an advisor, advisor on advisor. That is the role you play. So you have a short period. We have a short period to communicate value. We have a short period to impart our children. We have a short period to do all that God has called us to do. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my conversation with you today. That's my conversation with you today. That we cannot stay behind. We cannot pretend as if we have all the time. We don't. I'll give you my quick example. I'm 52 years old. My wife and I had our first child 8 months ago. Close to 8 months ago now, 7 months ago. Now, that child was born to me at the age of 51. I was 51 years old when my first son was born to me. I got married at 36. My wife and I waited. We're not waiting, we're being prepared to have a child. And that child came when I was 51 years old, at the tail end of my 51 years in this life. So I began to do the maths. In the beginning, I told you that I have the privilege, not many people have that privilege, of first being the father of all for 15 years before I became the father of one. And so, because I was a father, I'm still a father of all. As a father of all, I learned a lot. I work with so many children. I saw the impact of my life on those children. I studied the errors of many parents. I studied the victories of many parents. I understood it for years. I began to look, and I've been doing this work, working with children, speaking like this. So I have the real privilege of being the father of all. Being the father of all prepared me to be the father of one, right? And you don't need to have waited the way I waited or be prepared the way I prepared for you to be the father of all before you become the father of one. As a matter of fact, you first need to see yourself as the father of all before you can take responsibility for one. You first need to see yourself as the father of all before you can take responsibility for one. Because if you do not see yourself as the father of all, you are not going to see to the goodness and the victory of every child that you come across. You are a father to every child you come across. Every child you are able to be a sustainer to. Every child you are able to inspire. You are a father to that child. That is why you cannot be a molester of any child when you know that I'm supposed to be a father. That is why you cannot be an irresponsible person in a community showing children what they're not supposed to see because you know that I'm a father to all. That is why you cannot see something happening to a child and you will keep quiet because it's not my child. The child that something is happening that you're saying is not your child. Do you know where your child is going to meet the child tomorrow? So when you see yourself as the father of all, it helps you to bring children together. It helps you to be the succor point of children. It helps you to be the anchor of their faith, the anchor of their purpose, the anchor of their dignity, the anchor of their honor, the anchor of their difference, the anchor of their future, the anchor of their purpose, the anchor of everything that they see. You may be the only believer a child will ever come across. I was not believed. My father did not believe in me. My mom did not believe in me. I kept looking around. There were adults in my life who did not believe in me. But you see, today, I want to be to every child I come across, that person that the word was not to me, because I know the impact of a child looking for a believer, looking for someone to believe, looking for someone to say, I see you, I hear you, I believe you, you are right, you are a gift, you are different. I never saw one person who demonstrated that to me, except two people. I would say two people. Number one, a teacher in my primary school who was a member of Scripture Union, who ministered to us, who just called us aside and just ministered to us. That woman, I don't remember her name. I don't think I even remember her face, but that woman. Then the second person who believed was my English teacher in class 4, Mr. Tubobo, who decided to teach me English. That's a story for another day. And went the extra mile of working with me so that I could get my grades right, particularly in English, Mr. Tubobo. Those two people. But the rest, I kept looking for people to believe. And today, I want to be to young people that person that the word was not to me. 15 years now, I have been that person. I've been a shoulder that children can cry upon. I've been a person they can talk to. I've been a friend they can have. I've been someone who will listen. I've been someone who does not have any form of judgment against any child, irrespective of what you have reported to me that the child has done. I always believe that the child is always a victim of our example or beneficiaries of our example. There's no child who has done anything wrong. A child has been taught what to do wrong. There's no child who has done anything right. A child has been taught what to do right. The foundation of the conversation today is that, but if you are not a person, you cannot be a man. If you are not a man, you cannot be a father. That is the question. So the question I want to leave you with is, go back to your life. Ask yourself the question today, am I a person? Do the checklist. Am I a person? Was my personhood altered? If it was altered, maybe that is why I found it difficult to serve. Let me tell you something. I know this is not a Christian program, but count it when I say the book that I read and I mention Jesus, just count it as a study aid. Study aid. Where in lectures too, we do case studies. So I'm using Jesus as my case study. We're in a secular country. If you bring a Muslim, you will use any other person he wants to use as his own case study. So because I have the floor, I'm using Jesus as my case study. In Jesus's case study, at what point did he begin to serve? The book says after he has sinned, after he knows that God has committed everything to his hand, what did he begin to do? He began to serve his disciples. So the truth of the matter, therefore, is until your personhood is intact, you cannot begin to deal with your manhood. Until your personhood is intact. What does it mean for your personhood to be intact? It is the fact that you know that you are a person of worth. It is the fact that you know that you have the sense of judgment. It is the fact that you know that apart from the fact that you have the sense of judgment, you have the power of choice. You can change this world. The people who change this world do not have two heads. It's something that I read this week. I read of a man who was said to be bound, to be living in the tomb. That man was living in the tomb. That man was, if no handcuff could hold him, no chain could hold him, and he met the person of this Jesus, my case study for today. And when he met him, he bowed before him. Everything inside him bowed before that man. And after this, where I'm going, after everything inside him bowed before that man, now he said, please, we are legion. What I'm carrying is legion, one man. Please cast us out. So he cast them out to a herd of swine of 2,000. Those 2,000 swine, they could not carry what one man was carrying in the negative. They could not carry. What did they do? All of them ran into the river and they perished. Something that one man was carrying, one man was carrying all of that. Look at 2,000 pigs could not catch, they perished, they died. If there were 5 million pigs, they would have still perished. It was just that only 2,000 pigs were available. Now turn it to the positive. Look at what a man is carrying. The power that is inside of you, the power of choice. But all of those things were altered. For some of us, they were altered. And because they were altered, we lost touch with our personhood. And we're looking for all kinds of solutions. The foundation is to go back to finding your personhood. You need to be a person. From your personhood, you become a man. You cannot be. Who is a man? A man is a server. A man is a person who sacrifices. A server is never disrespected. A server is, if you say my family, my husband will disrespect me if I serve, that's not service. If you are a server, if you serve, not your honor. I'm a man who serve my family by God's grace. And I know the implication of that. I know how my wife sees that. I know how she appreciates that. I know how she receives that. And so from manhood, you now move to fatherhood. Now let me conclude this way. I'm 52 years old with a son who is going to be 8 months next week. 25th of June, my son will be 8 months. By the time I'm 70, that boy will be 18 years old. If I live to be 80, the boy will be 28 years old. I don't have too much time. So since when he was in the womb, I began to declare, because I know my words are powerful and they are going to live longer than me. Those words do not belong to me. They belong to God. The one to whom the word belongs to is eternal. The same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So it doesn't matter whether I stay to see him graduate. It doesn't matter whether I stay to see him marry. A good name is to be desired than silver and gold. What is critical for his future to be shaped is the blessing of a father. This is my beloved son, in whom I will follow ye him. So I began to declare concerning his destiny since when he was in the womb. I began to declare, place my hand on the mother's womb, and began to declare concerning him, Thierry Ayoluwa, you are for signs and wonder. You are here to stay. You are here to grow. You are here to glow. You are here to make a difference. You are here to show up. You are here to show off. You are here to stand out. You are here to represent the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. You are going to stand on the highest mountain possible and flag the flag of our faith. You are a man that will make a difference. The solution of God resides inside of you. I declared it so much. I recorded it because I was doing a lot of traveling. So when I was not around, the mother would place it by the womb and be playing it to the child. When that child was born, the child already knew my name. Let me tell you today, if I call, I still call them before I started speaking to you now. When I place a call through, whatever the child is doing, once the child hears my voice, the child stops. The mother says, why does he do this? It stops everything. When I come into the room, my wife will say, just lower your voice, because if I speak, the boy is going to wake up. He doesn't wake up to everybody's voice like that. The boy recognizes my voice. Now, this is the point. I have spoken to him so much. We have conversations every day. I've spoken to him so much using my word to shape his future, because I know I have the power of choice. I cannot be deciding on how long I have left. I believe in longevity. I believe God, I'm going to see my children's children. But you see, yesterday is in the womb. Yesterday is in the tomb. Tomorrow is in the womb. Today is what I have. Yes. I cannot, because of the hope that I have for the future, neglect what I can do today. Yes. When I'm going to live to see him married, see him have children, it is not a substitute to not declaring the word of God concerning him today. Because it is what I even declare today that will guarantee the future that we see. By faith, we know that the words were made by the word of God, so that the things that we see are made of the things that are not appear. That is what I'm talking about today. Fathers, you are too powerful to fail. God has deposited so much in you. You cannot fail. Go back to your personhood. Embrace your manhood. Begin to play your role as a father. Our world are suffering because fathers have left their places. They have allowed the grace of this world, the things of this world to lift them up. And today they are lost. And because they are lost, many children cannot find their place. Fatherlessness has become a global plague. That is why there can be no program more important than this today, where we are calling fathers to their responsibility. Everything is in your hand. God has empowered you. All you need to do, speak a word. All you need to do is to arise. If you were abused, messed up when you were growing up, all you need to do is to stand up today and say, no, the buck must stop at my table. Generation does not answer to only time. Generation answers to decision. That's why somebody said, you must stay in Gibeon. You shall stay in the valley of Ajalon. And it was so. I have so much passion for fathers today, because I look at my life, I look at everything that I've gone through, and I look at what God is doing in my life today. This morning, I was just sharing with my wife the testimonies of God's goodness, the people that are calling us, the work that we are doing, things that I do not plan. People just keep calling us. People just keep blessing us. People just want to be involved in what we are doing. And I was sharing all of that with my wife today. We're just exchanging notes. And I'm saying, look at us, look at where we are coming from. Look at the damage that our parents did, not because they were wicked, but because that was the most they could do. But look at how we took our life under God, and look at all that we are doing today. Father, I charge you. I beg you, take responsibility. Thank you very much.
We need time. We need to digest what we have just heard here. Wow. 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 Okay. Coach Wendy, you are here.
Thank you so much, boss. And I would say that I've listened to Barrister Taiwo Akinlami for, sir, this is the 5th year, I guess. Mm-hmm. I've listened to Barrister for 5 years, and every single time, I listened to him speak. I don't know what happened. And trust me, I've listened to him. There was a time I listened to him almost on a daily basis. So I've heard him a lot. All right. He's a man that I respect so much, a man that have mentored me. And Barrister Taiwo has spoken on TIP Fathers Conference every single year. And when he comes, he ends this way. It's usually, a time for all of us to go back, become sober again, think again. I know that this is a forum for fathers. I don't think there's any other thing to say. I don't even think there's a question to ask. If you were at this session and you still want to go back at this session and still continue fathering the way you're fathering, then everything we've done here will be. I beg of you, please. I hope you heard what was said today. I just want you to go and do it. This will be the second speaker who will be telling us that fatherhood is the source and the
And
sustainer.
sustain it.
Not an error. The first day, that was the first thing we heard. Today is the last day. That's the next thing we're hearing again. And Barrister Taiwo made emphasis on sustainability. It's not about just being the source. For someone who is being a first-time father at 52 and recounting 51 and recounting for you how he sees himself not have the time. You don't have the time. Don't kid yourself. You don't.
Mm,
The time is not there. The
mm,
time is not there. All this, I don't know what to do. I don't have time. I will visit it later. You will be shocked at how much time will fly away. Please let us make hay while the sun shines. I want to say thank you to you, sir. I said today at the beginning, yesterday's session, I said that two men that will be speaking at this session are both mentors. The difference is that I'm married to one, I'm not married to the other. This is the one I'm not married to anyway. So you already know that. I want to say thank you so much, sir. I have never for once said, Barrister, you need to do this. And he says, no, I can't. It doesn't happen. I don't know how, because I know his schedule. I've been privileged to get into a bit of what his schedule looks like. And yet he would turn around and just say, oh, why not? It's a duty we owe. He was the one that I learned that word from. He says to me, it's a duty, and we just have to do it. I just want to say thank you. Thank you not just for this speaking. Thank you for being a father to the TIP family. We do not take that for granted. We honor you, sir. We thank you and happy Father's Day to you. You were
Thank you
first a
so much.
father to many of us even before you became a father. And I want to let you know that the way you father is just awesome. Taiwo Akinlami is one person who will never judge you against all odds. And it's so interesting. Thank you so much, sir. We
Thank you
really,
so
really
much.
appreciate you. Thank you. Over to you
Thank
guys.
you.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This has been an emotional session. Um, I do hope that we have taken away a lot to do, a lot to do, a lot to do. I'll keep emphasizing that's what we started from. It's not about telling, it's about showing what you have learned out of this place. Generations will not, that's one of the last things I heard him say. The generations will not only answer to time, they will
Mm,
answer to the decisions that we make
mm,
out of this place. They will answer to the decisions that we make out of this place. And may I remind you that the theme of this event is Daddy is Destiny. The destiny of our nation, the destiny of our generation lies on the shoulders of fathers. I hope that we take the next 5 minutes to brood on some of the things that we have heard. Adjust yourself for the next session. The next session is going to be here in less than, let's say, 5 minutes. So by 4:15, we're back here for Mr. Kunle Ologe. I was going to say Mr. Wendy Ologe. All right, so we're going to be back here for Mr. Kunle Ologe
You
in
didn't get
five
that.
minutes time. Everybody, go take a sip of water and join us again in by 4:15.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
sir.
much, Barrister.
Thank
Please, can
you.
you share the last words with us and also share where we can find you, sir?
Okay. Thank you very much for um, having me again. It's my pleasure and privilege and thing of pride for me to be part of this great family. Proud of what you are doing. And the thing of the at the end of the day, no matter what we have said, the commitment is in the hand of each of us that have listened today to do something about it. Decide something you're going to do. What are the things you want to do from everything you have heard from every speaker from the beginning of this conference? What are the definite actions you want to begin to take? And it's not tomorrow action, today action. What action did you decide to take on the first day, second day, third day, this session, and the next session? Let's break all of these things down into action points and begin to do them. Because you see, every day is the usual day until something happens, and things don't happen until people make it happen. Even the depletion of ozone layer is traceable to human action. You have to decide. You know, I just decided that I looked at the entire Akinami family from my father's side. Nothing was working, no example, and I felt that someone must break that genes. And myself and my twin brother began to believe God. And today we have become a new generation, a holy nation, set back to show for the glory of God. That is a decision. You know, the beautiful thing about this decision, when you take this decision under God, He supports you, He backs you up, He begins to hold your hand, He begins to help you. You can't afford to be a victim of petty, small habits, pornography, all of those things that drain you. You know, a little here, a little there, a little lie here, a little deception there. You know, those little elements, they just mess us up. They are little, but when they accumulate, they sap us of our energy. They sap us of everything God has deposited inside of us. But when you take this decision under God, and you begin to change the focus of your content, because someone says whatever informs you forms you. When you begin to take those decisions, things to begin to change your source of information, things begin to change. So that's my chat with you. Thank you so much. You can reach me on social media, Taiwo Akinami Returns on Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Taiwo Akinami. You can follow me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, Taiwo Akinami also. I have a blog. On that blog, I've written 980 something articles on the subject matter of child protection, child right, parenting, and all of that. Is www.taiwoakinamiblog.com. You can go there. It's free. Just help yourselves. Thank you so much for having me, Mrs. Wendy Ologe. Thank you for all that you do. You are an unusual human being. God has deposited so much in you, and you are giving account of it. And I want to assure you, you've not seen anything yet. Whatever you are doing right now, you are scratching the surface. That thing that you normally say, imagine millions of parents gathering in one place. It is more than a destiny. It is God's plan and purpose, and it is still bigger than that, because you cannot see all that God wants to reveal to you, except as you move in obedience. As you continue to move, He reveals more. What He reveals at the beginning appears gigantic, but when you take the step of faith and you keep moving, He keeps revealing it. So you understand what I'm talking about. So keep moving, keep running, and I want to salute Mr. Kunle Ologe. Only few men are able to allow their wives to do what God has called them to do, supporting them, backing them. It shows that those men are secured. It shows that those are men who serve, who say, go forward, I'm with you, I will support you, I will be with you, and I will ensure that you do all that God has called you to do. There are many dreams, many visions of women that have perished in their marriage, submerged in the insecurity of their husbands. But today we have a man who is committed. I've met him. The first time I went to Mrs. Wendy's office, and he was returning in the evening, and we met. I saw a secured man, full of smile. I saw a man who was secured in his skin and in himself and in his destiny and what God is doing in the life of his wife. He has not met me before. He received me as if we have always met. And we gisted, we spoke, no air, no inhibition. Someone comes into the room and you begin to feel uneasy. He begins to say, good afternoon, good afternoon. Begin is doing, you are saying, maybe I need to begin to move. I was there, he joined our conversation, we had a great time. So I'm not just talking about a man that I've not met. I'm talking about a man that I met and created an impression of security, of calmness. What I can say about him, in quietness and confidence shall be your strength. That is my conclusion about him when I met him. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Wendy Ologe. God bless you. You still owe me something. I'm a twin, so that anointing for twins. My wife is saying that our next children are going to be twins. So you need to
You have it, boss.
okay.
This year I'm going to come and meet you. You have it.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Bye.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get on to the next session, and where we meet the governor himself.
Yes,
He's
yes,
going to be
yes,
speaking at
yes,
that
yes,
session. I'm
yes.
sure he's waiting.